I have been getting a lot of vitriolic hatred on Twitter. It's a sign of cancel culture, mob mentality. Including on my birthday, these people have no shame for talking about the Hogwarts Legacy game, specifically trying to say, you know, if you want to play it, then that's your prerogative. They don't know how to debate without using ad hominems, fallacious arguments, that it relies on emotional response and can turn vicious very quickly because the argument doesn't hold up logically. And I'm going to show you why. Today, I'm going to be going over a little bit of history, my own personal history. Okay, so here's my Twitter account. Here's what I posted today. Choosing to play a video game you love from a franchise you've grown up with is reasonable. There are many real evil people who have made things you enjoy. Just take a look at all the people that were on the Epstein flight logs. How many of those people are entertainers? Of course, the big companies that run the world have a very shady history. A little hypocritical, right? I had this person literally subtweeting me. But first, before we do that, I'll show you the tweets that got everyone angry. Should you be held guilty by association for wanting to enjoy a fictional series that you grew up with just because the author doesn't agree with a certain ideology? I got 10,000 views on this. And one of the names that I got called was TERF. And I don't know if you guys know what TERF is. First of all, I understand, like, if I put something on Twitter, that's for everyone to see, right? So there might be some backlash, but the fact that they were being so unbelievably disrespectful to my brother, calling my brother a bigot and a homophobe, and calling me a right-wing conservative TERF or whatever, when I don't even know what those words mean. I made a joke. I made a funny. Oh, how dare I make a joke about newspeak insults. I'm supposed to be extremely insulted when I'm called this thing. Which, by the way, I have found out that TERF stands for, since this all happened, I found out that it means trans exclusionary radical feminist. I do not identify as that, but people are still calling me that, and I will get to the sexual harassment of the devs. That seems like the biggest argument that people are making is that I shouldn't have said it was an ideology. I have my brother on call with me. Hello, brother. So why do you think that these people are upset that I called it an ideology?
I think that it's rooted in this, like, it's not an ideology because it's real, and ideologies are ideas. That's my best guess. But, like, the trans movement is an ideology.
Binary says, I thought TERF was something you established by the strength of your gang. From what I have learned from this is that Twitter is not my turf, you guys. Another argument that people keep giving me is that by saying that someone should be allowed to play this video game, I'm inciting violence. What's the source? People are saying that there's violence against trans people. There's no proof. I worded it as a certain ideology. So what is the definition of an ideology? Anybody? A set of opinions or beliefs of a group or an individual. It is a system of ideas and ideals, especially one which forms the basis of economic or political theory and policy. Keep it to yourself. Just keep quiet. They would love if I shut up. They would love that, wouldn't they?
Like if you're telling somebody, play it, but don't tell anybody, that's the same thing as saying, play it.
And that just proves that so many of these people who are virtue signaling about this whole thing, they don't actually care. They don't actually believe this is causing violence to trans people. They're gonna play it and just keep their mouths shut about it. They say that JK Rowling's ideas incite violence on the trans community.
Words aren't violence. And it's like, what is it? Correlation does not equal causation, right? So how can you say the Hogwarts game is causing people to be violent? It's ridiculous. And
I am definitely not inciting violence by asking a question or making a joke about playing a video game. And for anyone who's watching this, I am not a transphobe. I do not hate trans people. So
that's not even what phobe means, though.
That is perfectly their choice to live their lives however they want to. Just like it is anyone's choice if they want to play this game or not. And what's crazy is that I don't even own this game. I haven't pre-ordered or anything. I was just asking the question, like, why is it bad to talk about this? Okay, so then there was this. Literally making passive-aggressive calls to action to stop supporting me. And people have been saying that I'm in my own echo chamber. People are saying that they lost me to the right-wing conspiracy theorists, by the way. Thank you, Grams. Thank you. I have 37 mutuals with that person. Come on, man. Come on. You'd rather talk about me behind my back on Twitter than talk to me? See, look, there it is. A DVD streamer turned to reactionary right-wing turf video essayist. It's such a shame that I found a community that actually supports me now. Man, really pulls on my heartstrings. I responded to this. I said, it's me. They're talking about me. Okay, now we've come to the point of the stream where I talk about the harassment, because this guy was there. A lot of my new community might not know Dead by Daylight. Maybe you guys don't play it. I would suggest you don't. But I did for a long time. And I have 2 videos on this, actually. First video is how the game is a terrible game mechanically, and also the community is terrible too, and it's a bunch of this. Yeah. And a second video where I go a little bit more into the depravity of the minds of the developers. Okay, so I definitely suggest that you watch those videos, but I'm going to go over it again here, since apparently everyone has seemed to have forgotten what happened that night. Even the people that were there. You know, the reason why they're upset that I've changed, right, is because a few years back, I called out the fact that someone I met through the Dead by Daylight community was a fan of the playground, as Sydney likes to call it. And he was messing around with underage girls behind my back for a long time. And I have that story on Twitter, if you guys want to read the whole thing. For everyone who's watching this and might be talking crap about me or on tweets right now and want to know when I've changed, it was probably then. That was probably the moment I've changed. When I found out that someone I had been with for 3 years was a fan of underage girls. And he was hiding in the Dead by Daylight community. And he met the girls there. He met all the victims there. Not just me. But anyway, let's go back. Let's go back before I knew all of that. Let's go back to when I was a full-time streamer. I got invited to a Dead by Daylight after party. One person who bought me drinks went up to me and was like, hey, you know, what do you do? What do you like to do? And I said, oh, I play this game called Dead by Daylight. I'm a streamer, right? I'm a cosplayer. And then he's like, well, I'm a developer. He is now using authority to flirt with me. Like I said, he bought me liquor. And other people who have since DM'd me, people who are now talking all the crap about me on Twitter, were there at the bar too. The moment when he asked me, do you think I'm attractive? And I said, yeah, I guess so. And he said, okay, because you're like a 3. And I was loud. I was drunk. And the girls at the bar were like, oh my God, you don't just call a girl a 3. And he's like, wow, now you told everybody. So now you're a 2. Now what am I? Anyway, the night goes on after the bar closes. And I go outside and I'm like, man, I'm so drunk. I don't have any signal out here. I need to get a cab home or back to my hotel room. I need to get a cab back to my hotel room. What do I do? Someone, I don't remember who said it, but someone that was in this group of people who were all smoking in a circle said, if you just walk down the road like a mile, you'll get signal. By myself in the middle of Boston at 4 in the morning in the dark. Because I don't have any phone signal. That sounds very safe, right? I didn't have anybody with me. I was traveling alone. Well, I'm walking a little bit. I noticed that the same dev has been following me. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, you should come back to my hotel room with me. And I was like, no, I hardly know you. And you insulted me in front of everybody. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. It was just a joke. Just gaslight. Let me gaslight you and tell you that you should come back and have sex with me. And I was starting to feel pretty uncomfortable, but I was so drunk, I didn't really know what to do at that point. So I was just kind of on my phone and walking. I was like, no, I don't want to go back to your hotel room with you. And he persisted for that whole mile down the road until eventually I had the signal and I could call a Uber to come pick me up. And so I waited there and he waited with me without knowing that I was getting an Uber. And he persisted. And then all of a sudden a car pulled up and he said, what's this? And I said, this is my ride. Goodbye. Now, this person literally just proves it that he was at the same party with the bar and everyone was intoxicated. But let's say you guys still don't believe me. Let's say that this isn't enough proof for you. I have more. This is a screenshot of my mod Discord. Things of being an e-girl. You know, I get asked to show my boobalas all the time. So that's a meme. But this right here is the developer following me on Twitch. Yeah, he followed me on Twitch, came into my stream. Matt from Behavior. I have a picture of him too. There he is. Someone else is in the picture too. I even say to my moderator that I got more wasted than I have in a long time that night. Once the bar was closed, he followed me outside, walked after me for about a mile until I called an Uber. But wait, there's more. And yes, this is me completely not giving a fuck anymore. I'm gonna bring it all down because what are these people doing except just invalidating my very real things that have happened to me. This is a clip from a really big DVD streamer, and the same developer was in that stream. He laughed about it and the whole chat laughed about it. It was so funny that Matt had the audacity and they all remembered. So they banned him. They unbanned him pretty quickly. I actually made this clip to prove that this happened and that everyone in that stream that was there confirmed it because it was just so funny. Everyone laugh at Ellie's expense. All right. That's the theme of the day, right? Well, of course, you know, it's incriminating. So why wouldn't they just, you know, delete it? But the clip was there back in 2019. It all comes back to the hypocrisy of the fact that I do not go out of my way to say that anyone who plays DBD is a bad person just because the developers are harassers. And there are so many other things that are created by bad people that are considered works of art or whatever. It's really crazy to me that all these Dead by Daylight players are being such virtue signaling hypocrites when I have proof that I was harassed by a developer of their favorite game. You'll notice that my mod there said, well, have you tried talking to HR? I tried reaching out to Behavior. I even tried reaching out to the Reddit. And my video got taken down. Yeah, it was something along the lines of like, you only talked about your harassment with the dev for like 2 minutes of the video, and most of the video was just talking bad about the game. How's this, Reddit mods? So, it is obvious that the people who have made their careers with Dead by Daylight, the ones that are saying it's such a shame that they lost me to right-wing turf conspiracy theorists, never gave a shit about me. They didn't care that I was a victim of a fan of the playground. They didn't care that I was actually harassed by a dev because it was from their favorite game. They will instead make me the villain and say for questioning if people want to play Hogwarts Legacy, I am inciting violence. And quite frankly, I won't stand for that.
Yeah, the whole argument that it's like violence is just absurd to me.
In my opinion, people who use violence like that have never experienced real violence. Yeah, I think that a lot of people in America are just like completely blind. It's like the people in Europe that literally can't use their own heat, that don't have hot water because of things that are going on. They're all just trapped. They want to virtue signal so bad because they don't want to be called out for their hypocritical behavior. And then, of course, you know, I get harassed in this way online, but it's not going to break me. And I'm not going to stop fighting the good fight.
Things have been done to you that weren't physically violent, but were more imposing than anything that JK Rowling has done to any individual. They all support Dead by Daylight when it was one of the creators of the game that did this.
People are trying to say that I'm no longer an ally, that they're taking away my LGBT card now. Yeah, I don't need to be defined by my sexuality, thanks. It's called cry bullying, whining, crying, throwing a fit while they punch you in the face. Thank you for the super chat.
They want to be able to whine and cry like they're victims while they're throwing blows at people. Ask yourself, would you be okay with that happening to a family member of yours? If you knew that your sister, I don't know if you have a sister or not, went somewhere to go for a career, like this was for her career because she was a streamer and she was trying to network in this community, and she drank some because some guy bought her drinks, and in that same process, tried to follow her.
Yeah, that's true. What if I had not been able to get any signal? What if I had not been able to get an Uber home? How long would he have followed me? How much would he have persisted? He knew how drunk I was. Like I told you, I was so drunk that night, I was afraid of getting sick inside of the car once I got picked up.
You know, you can argue Ellie shouldn't have gotten drunk, but it was a social event. And there's nothing wrong with drinking at a social event. Everybody drinks too much every now and then. That doesn't justify people trying to prey on her or take advantage of her. You're not going to do that in public when you're surrounded by people. So he waited until he had a chance to get her isolated. Like, you can't rationalize someone doing this. If she says no or she walks away, leave it alone, that's fine. But when you pursue her because she's drunk and try to isolate her, that's a totally different thing.
It's predatory. He was predatory with me that night. And yes, the community enables grooming. It does. I was groomed by that community in a lot of ways, not just sexually, but I was manipulated and gaslit by people who are of higher caliber because they had more followers than me.
There have been so many heinous, perverted, terrible people that have come out of this Dead by Daylight community.
It was the developer of this game. So are you going to stop playing Dead by Daylight? No. Is, you know, JK Rowling creating this world? Why are you going to like say that they're terrible people for playing this game and it incites violence when you're going to play a game that like the developer literally harassed me in a sexual way? Like how, like it's the hypocrisy.
Yeah, there's so many issues here to even, I mean, you can isolate them or you can look at them all together. You know, the fact that the dev did it is bad enough, but the fact that the community that supposedly supports women and supports trans people and supports all this stuff.
And I talk about this in the devs, from the devs to the dating sim video too, by the way. But like basically the streamer who had 400 viewers played my video, the first one, A Blight on Humanity, to his community, and they all just talked so much crap about me, gave him free content. He was making lots of money, basically making fun of me. I was streaming at the time too. Someone came over to my stream and was like, this is happening. And Zach went over to his stream on my behalf, and they destroyed him too.
He called me on Discord. He called me a fan of the playground.
Yeah,
I
know.
The straight nerve. Up. Yeah, he straight up called me that.
He said, you're saying that there are groomers and fans of the playground and DBD. How do we know that you're not one?
That's the most ridiculous argument ever. The fact that he just overtly called me that in front of hundreds of people. He basically view farmed me, where he kept running the argument into this circle. It was like this cyclical argument over and over. And then what happened is he was shaming me because I wouldn't tell Ellie's story like she's talking now on his stream, so he got the content for it. It's not my story to tell.
And I haven't really talked about it until now because there are a lot of people that might see their names in this video that were involved that won't be too happy that I made it public. But What are you gonna do? I don't care anymore. You can either accept the fact that I was harassed that night, or you can shut up.
The left wants to talk about being a safe space for women. Clearly it's not. You know, all we saw is that people that are quote unquote on there for women are just using these stories to get clout and to view farm.
And another thing happened to me that night too, when another person who's really famous in that community tried to get me into a three-way sexual relationship. It just proves that that community is very predatory in a way. I started getting called a bigot and a homophobe because I'm trying to say, like, don't guilt people if they want to play a game. I don't even own the game. I haven't pre-owned the game. I just have people that want to play it that are afraid to say they want to play it because of stuff like this. And I was like, whatever. I'm like, I'll ask, like, why is it such a big deal to want to play this Hogwarts game? And apparently that is a very much a bigger deal than any sexual harassment I've experienced. Apparently that's where we're at, chat. That's where we're at in this life. Someone who is literally there is trying to say it wasn't true. Of course.
Yes.
I mean, what else are they gonna do? There were lots of people at the bar who heard the dev talking to me and buy me drinks. There were so many people who were there that night, but none of them care about me. They just don't care about me. And they're trying to guilt me and destroy my reputation by saying that I don't have empathy and that I don't care about trans people, when that's what's not true. I do have empathy. I have a lot of empathy. And I'll say it again. I don't hate trans people. The only thing that I don't like is people fake virtue signaling for no reason to try to make me into a villain and literally subtweeting me, quote tweeting me, telling people to unfollow me and not support me because I am some sort of inciter of violence. Of course, I don't want anyone to have violence against them, but that also means that I don't want any vitriol and violence against me.
You cannot say that what they do causes violence. You could say that people who have hatred in their hearts towards trans people commit violence toward them, but until there's an exact connection between a bad actor committing violence against trans people and JK Rowling statements or her supporting them or something, you can't make that connection.
Why is my experience any less important? It really does feel nice to get it off my chest, that's for sure. But I really am happy that I have a YouTube community now that supports me and sees through this craziness. And I look back on it and it really was pretty scary. But I had been groomed up to that point to think that it was funny, to think that it was just a joke. This guy like followed me out of the bar and like asked me to have sex with him multiple times and to come back to his hotel room with him. Oh my God, what a loser. When really I was in danger. And behavior obviously doesn't care. I tried to speak to them personally multiple times about this. I didn't necessarily even want to make it public because I wanted to prove that, like, no, I'm not trying to just like get clout from this. I'm really not. It's just something that is messed up. I want to talk to somebody about it, but behavior ignored me and the Reddit mods shut me down. So here it is. And this will be the last I talk about it.
But yeah, I mean, they virtue signal so hard, but then a woman shows potential victimhood of herself, and it's like, because she didn't have the right views about JK Rowling, now she's, you know, oh, too bad, she can deal with it. How can you say that you're an ally, you know, unless you're just saying that women aren't part of that. Like, everyone's protected now except women.
My harassment no longer matters at all. The fact that I was a victim of a fan of the playground for 3 years no longer matters because I asked if it was okay to play a Hogwarts game.
Yeah, Rowling is a perfect example of, like, being the queen until you say the wrong thing and then you're thrown to the gutter. You ever looked at Scientology's disconnection policy?
What happened to Ellie? It's such a shame. People are saying, oh, she's making these weird videos now. What do you mean weird videos? You know, exposing the corruption of e-girls? It's so bizarre.
There was a tweet that was in there was like, I was digging through all of her old posts to find where the flip happened. Like, what? like between these two tweets, I decided that my political views changed, guys. And this tweet is indicative of, like, what is it? What are you trying to do, man? Like,
the flip when I became a TERF. I'm not a radical trans exclusionary radical feminist or whatever. I didn't even know what that word meant, dude. Why are you calling me things that I don't even know what they mean? That's newspeak. That's literally Orwellian. It's only a game. Why you have to be mad? I don't have to be mad. I mean, I'm not going to pretend that, you know, my harassment being invalidated doesn't hurt. But that's the thing. They don't care. They don't care if they hurt my feelings. How could I expect bystanders to do anything, right? Especially retroactively. What would I expect from such individuals? So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen going forward with this video. Knowing what has happened so far, that probably means nothing's going to happen. But I just wanted to share with my new community why I am getting absolutely lambasted on Twitter. That's why. If you are new to this stream, make sure that you subscribe. And please go follow me on that site. Because man, oh man, it's wild over there. Go watch Dead by Daylight, a blight on humanity designed to hook you, and Depravity by Daylight from the devs to the dating sim. Go check it out after this video. Good night, everybody. See you later.